All right, so the VVT solenoid, there is two. There's a forward and a rear facing one. I will show you the location of both of these so you have an idea of where they are. So the front one is sitting just right underneath here. You can see the chrome piece of it sitting right there. And then the rear, it's actually sitting just right here, where my finger is, just right there. Okay, that's where your rear one's facing. Doing the rear, you can get in and out within 15 minutes. Doing the front, you have to remove the intake manifold. You have to remove the air ventilator box. This comes off and then it gives you access to all of your points. I'll show you how to do this step by step. The evap line needs to come off as well. EGR has to come off as well. The EGR hose has to come off as well to gain access to actually take that intake head off. So we'll dive right into the meat and potatoes of this and we'll get started. So first things first, you're gonna need a 10 millimeter to break these two free. That will take this plate off of it completely. Once you remove the two 10s, you can lift up the front. Now in the back, there's gonna be two pressure tab ones, okay? Here and here. Those ones just sit right there and there. Just lift up on the back and pull it forward and then it will gently come off. This, set aside. Now you're going to take a flathead and you're going to gently remove this. This has got a safety clip on there. So you're going to need to pry it back ever so gently so it comes off. Remove the EGR hose on this side here. You can disconnect this and get it out of the way. Okay, and remove the clip here. But we're going to be removing this complete assembly out of our way because it has to come off to get the intake manifold off. All right, so once you've got your your breather valve off there, you're gonna have that one removed off there. You're gonna remove the harness that was right here. Keep it all connected, just put it out of the way. You're gonna have to pull the push tab clip here, remove the bolt there, your throttle body intake chamber, just gonna have to back it off. There's no hose clamp that holds it in. There's a hose clamp here, you'll need to back that off. These will come off. Disconnect this with the safety clip. Be very gentle so you don't break the clip. Remove the piece off of here and then remove the other connector, sorry, not the connector, the push tab off of that too, give it access. Now you're gonna have two right here and two right there. Those things are holding and securing your intake manifold down. So those need to be removed as well. This one you can probably get a ratchet in there on a power ratchet. This one here, I find there's not enough room, so you might have to use a ratcheting wrench. Okay, so that's your next step. Remove these two here, don't lose your bolts, and then after that, we will move on to the next one. Now I removed the airbox vent as well as shifted this over just so you guys can get a better idea, but you do not need to do this for the video. I just did it so you guys can get a better layout of what we're working with here. So I've got the two here removed and the two here removed. There is another bolt that sits underneath the EGR. I'm gonna see if I can keep the EGR on. Last time I had to take it off, but this time I'm gonna see if I can keep it on. Now there's 8 bolts that you need to remove to get your intake manifold off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, okay? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and then there's an 8 right there. Okay, so that's what you're gonna need to know, as well as don't forget to remove your secondary PCV valve breather pipe. A little trick to remove this one here. If you actually go down here, there is another connector right here. And if you actually get it and you push it forward and lift it up, it'll actually allow you to pull this off. Because if you have it on here and here, this is a hard hose, it's not rubber. You're gonna be pushing, you're gonna crack this hose in the back here. And then you're gonna have to replace that part. So remove it from the back there, and then you'll be able to disconnect it here, okay? Then set it aside. And another thing I'll show you is that when you're doing this job and you got the 8 off, it's still gonna be not able to be removed. Because if you come down here, now I did the EGR and I took it off on the side here. It's gonna be 3 10 millimeter bolts that'll hold it on, and then you can just take it off. But if you look down under here, you see right where my index finger is, there is a, let me get a better shot. So right here where my index finger is, behind this hose, there is a, sorry guys. There, now I can see. So right there, that at the tip of my index finger, there is just a clip there that's holding on this wire harness here, and then there's another one right there at the tip of my finger. Just get like a pry tool and pry them off, because those are sitting on head bolts that look just like this, that are holding this unit on this for this intake manifold. So those got to come off too. Now that all of your bolts are removed, you are able to remove your intake manifold. Just be careful that you don't lose your bolts. Take it off nice and easy and slowly to make sure that you've made sure that you've disconnected everything on the vehicle so you're not yanking anything else out with it. So now you can remove your intake manifold. All right, so at the end of this hose right here, there is a stud. There's a 10mm socket on there nut on there that I forgot to tell you about. But just underneath there, you see how there's like an L or S like shaped bracket? At the bottom there's another bracket that is actually holding it on. So if you're trying to remove your intake manifold, you can see you can't, because the stud's through there. So you have to remove the bolt that sits just down there as well to relieve that one, and then it'll come completely straight off. All right, so now that I've got everything disconnected, what I'm gonna do now is I'm actually gonna pull the intake manifold off so you guys can see. So there's two ways you can do it. There's a bracket down here that's got a S-like shape to it, and you can fight with it to get down lower. Or when you're taking it off, you kind of lift it and pull it out on an angle like so. When you pull it out on an angle like this, don't forget that there is a mass airflow sensor right here that you do need to disconnect. So now, you want to get it, lift up this corner, pull it out, and then kind of shimmy, shimmy, shimmy to get this bolt here, sorry, in case you can't see, this bolt here out of the way. Okay, so it comes up, lift the corner, shimmy it out very slowly, and then it comes out. Now you've got rid of this. Set it aside, and immediately what you should do next, gently remove the foam, and you want to cover up these holes immediately, because if you ever drop anything down there, you are going to need a tow truck to take it out, because you cannot drive a vehicle with anything that has fallen down in there. So you'll need a tow truck and an expensive repair bill. So cover up as quickly as you can. If you're doing spark plugs, now's a good time to do spark plugs. This video is not for spark plugs, it's actually for the solenoid right here. So it's about an hour and a bit to remove that intake manifold to do a 3-minute replacement of the solenoid, which I'll show you the part number in a second here and how to do that. But if you're doing spark plugs right now, 10mm bolt, 10mm bolt, 10mm bolt, pop, 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 pop those off, and the back side's already easy. You do not need to remove the intake manifold if you're doing the back spark plugs, only if you're doing the front, but you should be changing them all anyways. All right, so now that that is off, we are going to move on, and I'm going to be replacing that EGR valve now. Sorry, I'm going to be replacing that VVT solenoid with a 10mm socket and extension. Don't use a power tool because it's very fine thread. You can crack the nut loose to loosen that solenoid. Now you're going to clean up this if you need to, and we're going to remove this clip. We're also going to clean up this area here too. You can use an engine degreaser or something. I'm basically going to use brake clean on a rag and clean it all up, because there's a lot of electrical components here. So, and then the intake, the exhaust manifold is just down there. So I don't want any residual brake fluid or brake clean going down there, because it can ignite it. So break that free, and then you're going to take off this connector right here. And then once you've taken off that connector, you want to clean off that area. All right, so clips off, has a safety tab, pull it back, and then use some sort of pry tool to lift it up a little bit. Just be very careful and gentle. Remove the 10mm, and then just basically kind of shimmy it to get it to come all out. Okay, you don't want to force it, nice and gentle with it, and just walk it off, just twist it. And keep doing what I'm doing, twisting it back and forth, and it will come right off. And then when you do that, compare it to the old one, and the part number for this one is going to be the factory part number, okay? And this is exactly what it looks like. It's sitting inside just like that, okay? So take it off, make sure when you do remove it that your 2 O-rings come out with it, okay? But that's how you remove that. So now that this one has been removed, compare it, see where the leak is coming from. These O-rings look pretty good, but sometimes they dry up over time and they can allow oil vapors to seep up through the solenoid up here and seep out at the top, which if you look down in the hole, you can see that the oil's actually raised itself up. So we're gonna clean here around the grommet, because the grommet comes with a valve cover. It doesn't come with this. And to do that, you'd be removing the entire valve cover for it. But the valve cover grommet here looks like it's in good shape, so we're gonna clean that up for the customer. When you're doing it, you don't wanna use any pre-clean because again, you don't want anything falling in that hole. So we're gonna be very careful and make sure that no dirt and debris go in there. I usually get a rag and I kind of twist it in like a cone and shove it in there to have that extra measure. And again, a comparison between the old one and the new one here, making sure that they line up exactly the same way. It's OEM, so it's the same one that's in there. And again, that's your part number there for this VVT solenoid on the front. If you're looking for the rear, I'll include that at the very end of this video. But now we're gonna change it off. You can see that the rubber bushings on this one are very thick, whereas the ones on the other one are very compressed and dried out. All right, so now that you've changed your VVT solenoid in the front, you're gonna push it in there so it clicks. Tighten this down, use a ratchet, don't use any power tools to remove or reinstall it. Go until it's snug, reconnect your wire, and then you have the joys of putting everything back the way it was and everything you had to remove, you're doing back in reverse now. So now we'll get to it. Don't forget to connect your sensor and then put your intake manifold back on. Also check these intake valve rings. Make sure that the rubber seals on them are still good and they're not worn out. In most cases, you can reuse them. Manufacturer recommends to be changed every time the intake manifold comes off, but you don't need to. All right, I'll show you a quick video here on how to put it back in. So again, you want to be very careful that you don't let any dirt and debris fall into the intake manifolds. Okay. Pull your bolts up. They don't have to be unthreaded out. Okay. Gently remove these. Make sure nothing goes in there. And we're going to put it back on. Okay. So you're going to go in on an angle. Okay. You're going to line it up with the hole that it's got to go into. Like so. Shimmy it, twist it, and then drop it back down into place where it needs to be. Okay. And now it's in. Okay. Now it's protected. Now repeat everything in reverse. All right, so the intake manifold is on. All the bolts, the 8 bolts are tightened. The 2 here, tighten those. 2 here, tighten those. Okay, you have to put those back. You're gonna have your EGR, you're gonna have 3 here, and then don't forget the 1 down there. And then you're gonna have your wiring harness out with those little push tabs. You just basically will slide it back on there and it will go back on. Don't forget to connect your EGR sensor on this guy here, and then we're going to move on, and then we're going to put the box back in here, and then we're going to reconnect all these EGR lines that are integrated all over the place. There's an outlet here, and then the outlet here because I took the air box off there. Okay. All right, so this will just be a quick recap so you know what to do. So engine cover on, all 8 bolts in the back secured. Re-secure your evap lines. Make sure that your connection is on with the sensor as well as the piping. Make sure that it's attached to here and your connector is in there solid and clicked in just like that, or it will pop back off as soon as you accelerate. Bolts down here tighten, bolts down here tighten. 3 bolts on the EGR tightened. 1 bolt down here was tightened, and then the harness clip was pushed on this one and this one. The PCV breather is re-secured. I still got to tighten this hose clamp there, but these are re-secured as well with your air infiltrator in there. Don't forget to put your rubber boot back on here. Don't forget if you disconnected your mass airflow sensor down here to reconnect it, or you're going to get a check engine light. And make sure that your harness back here is all plugged back in. Tighten down your boots so you don't have a evap code for a leak. And then road test your vehicle. Make sure that everything on it is good. Anyways, this is how to do a VVT solenoid on a Chrysler Pacifica with a 3.6.
You can also use this guide as a spark plug guide as well, because it's the same process. I just did something different. Anyways, thank you so much for watching. If you have any questions, comments, or anything like that, feel free to hit it in the comments down below. If you're doing this job yourself, it's not too hard. Hopefully this DIY step-by-step can help you do the job. But anyways, thank you so much for watching and the support. And if you have any questions, again, fire down below. I'm happy to help you out. See you on the next one.